I am 82 years old, and there is one truth about my life that I am only brave enough to say now, when there is almost nothing left that can be fixed. I am still married. We still live in the same house. We still call each other husband and wife. But it has been a long time since we chose each other. I am not saying this in anger. I am not saying it hoping for a miracle. I am only saying it as it is. Before my body stops cooperating with my memory. In the mornings, I wake up first. Not because I am disciplined, but because these old bones no longer allow me to sleep long. I sit in the chair by the window. I look at the small street in front of the house. Cars pass by, people go to work. Life keeps moving. Behind me, I can hear her steps in the kitchen. The sound of cups, water boiling. We know each other's rhythms very well, too well. Perhaps, we rarely talk in the mornings. Not because we are angry. We passed that phase decades ago. We are quiet because there is nothing urgent to say, and it sounds peaceful until you realize how empty it feels. I often ask myself when the last time was that I truly chose her. Not choosing to stay, but choosing to be present. I don't remember. When I was young, I thought love was something big, something that came like a storm and survived on its own strength. I didn't know that long-lasting love is fragile. It doesn't collapse because of one great mistake. It wears down because of thousands of small things that are ignored. I met her when I was 27. I had just started working seriously. My salary wasn't much, but I was proud. She laughed easily back then. Her laughter made me feel at home, even though I didn't yet have a home. We rented a small room, thin walls. The neighbors' voices carried through. We sat on the floor, eating from the same plate, talking about the life we believed we would build together. I chose her with complete certainty, and I knew she chose me too. I do not regret that marriage. Not for a single second. What I regret is what I did afterward. The first years moved quickly. We worked. We saved. Our first child was born. Then the second. Life became crowded, and I began measuring my days by productivity, not by presence. I came home later. I brought work with me. I answered her while only half listening. I thought I was being a responsible man. I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do. I didn't realize that every time I said later, something quietly died. She once waited for me for dinner. The food was cold when I arrived. I apologized while standing. We still ate. We still talked about the children. I didn't realize that what she was waiting for wasn't my arrival. It was for me to sit down. There was one night I remember clearly. I think I was 42 at the time. The children were asleep. The television was off. The house was quiet. She sat across from me and said, softly, almost unsure, "Are you still happy living with me?" The question made me uncomfortable. Not because I didn't care, but because I wasn't ready to stop. I answered quickly, "Of course, we're just busy." That answer ended the conversation, and I didn't know it also ended something inside her. She never asked again. We didn't separate. We didn't have explosive fights. We didn't make one great, terrible decision. We simply stopped choosing. Slowly. We chose routine because it was easier. We chose exhaustion because it felt important. We chose silence because it avoided conflict. I didn't feel guilty then. I felt mature. Now I know that maturity without presence is just neatly arranged distance. The children grew up. They left one by one. The house became too big for two people, but we sit across from each other at the dining table. We share small updates with their neighbors, bills. We know each other's history, but not each other's inner worlds anymore. I often thought, maybe this is just how it ends. Maybe this is the price of a long life together. I didn't know I was lying to myself. The turning point did not come loudly. It came through a weakening body. She got sick. Not immediately, severe, just enough to make us stop. I sat beside her hospital bed. White lights, the smell of antiseptic. I held her hand, and for the first time in a very long time, I felt afraid. Not afraid of being alone. Afraid that I had lived beside someone without truly being with her. In that room, I realized how little I knew about her now. What she thought about before sleeping. What she missed. She survived. We went home. And life returned to how it had been. That was the most honest moment of my life. I was given clarity, and I didn't use it. I waited for the right time. I thought there would be easier days, simpler conversations. That day never came. Now we are very old. Our movements are slow. Our days are short. We take care of each other well. We are polite. We are responsible. But the connection, it has been gone for a long time. And this is the hardest part to say. There are things that cannot be repaired, even if both people are still alive. Not because there is no love, but because the time to rebuild it has passed. The conversations that should have happened at 40 feel hollow at 80. Not because they don't matter, but because the roots are gone. I don't blame her. I don't blame my younger self either. I understand why I chose the way I did. I just didn't know the cost. If you are listening to this, I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to feel guilty. I only want you to know one thing I learned too late. Staying is not the same as choosing. Silence is not the same as peace. And time never waits until you are ready. I don't know how much longer I will sit in this chair. I only know this is the truth of my life. We are still together. And we are fine if this can be called fine. But there is a version of us that never came to be, and it will never return. I accept that now, with gratitude, and with grief. Both live with me every day. If this means something to you, hold it for a moment. That is all I wanted to say.